would basically come out here and he would fold and put his guard controls here. Now this doesn't seem like it's that great of a guard, but the fact that I have both of my legs over here and this holding now, if he tries to make posture, very difficult for him to get anywhere from here because my weight's sitting on the back of his head. I've got two pieces of anchoring material here. So it's, even though it doesn't look like I would have great control, it's really difficult for him to get his head up. If he can get his head up, if this leg's not out of the way, then it's very easy for him to move. He'll, look up at the sky and he's gone. But the fact that I'm keeping my leg over his head and keeping weight down on it makes it really difficult for him to move around and get him. Okay? And so the initial position was taken from this. Now, I use this every once in a while, and it was effective, but I found myself here so much more, already in the omoplata, and the guy goes and tucks his hand on the inside, okay? Which, for the most part, is a viable way to block it, especially if he's a big, strong guy, because it's going to be really hard for me to force that shoulder down with him pushing off the other side. He's got good pressure back here, a solid lock, so now he can kind of lift and put pressure back on my legs. It just makes for a pure nightmare if the guy can actually tuck here. All right? So fine, why fight it? I'll just go ahead and go with it. Now, with this leg, the initial step is always the same. This hand is just going to scoop to the inside, and I'm going to make a scoop. All right? I just want to be, controlling his arm. This leg can come off. Everything I told you last week still stays the same. I need this knee to go to the ground. I need to shift my hips this direction. So in other words, I need to be facing towards his feet. Now either I can pull and skip my hips and do that, all right? But if that's difficult for you, you can certainly just put your foot on the floor and then escape your hips and relock. But notice now, I'm not facing towards the ceiling anymore, I'm facing out towards the wall. Everybody see the angle change? All right, so here's the piece that I didn't talk about. This knee has to go in this hole as the next part of the movement. So I have a little something here to help you with. Now this is probably the worst part of this movement. I'm going to reach through, grabbing the foot, grabbing the pants, whatever I can. I've got to pull myself up. I'm going to pull myself up until my top shoulder spins. So I can't be facing this direction. I've got to start to roll in this direction. So you see now my knee is in the hole, and I'm sitting on the side of my head, but my hips are facing down. Now what this is now doing is my hips are locked onto his elbow. I'm hugging in nice and tight, and now I have a little impetus, so as I roll back and pull, I've got the guy with enough momentum that I can take him straight over and lock him tight. You have to have all of these initial positions locked in perfectly, because if you don't, he will be 1.5 miles away from you, and you'll be trying to arm lock his little pinky finger. Okay, that's how sticky and slippery, rather how slippery the position will get if you're not tight at the outset. If you do everything at the outset to stay super, super tight, and really think about locking your hips, or his elbow like right to your navel, when you roll him over, he will be stuck deep in that arm lock, and he will not be able to go anywhere. Okay? Getting him to roll over, though, is contingent upon your ability to turn your hips down to the ground, get that shoulder down, and get onto the side of your head. Otherwise, he's like dead weight trying to get him over. He ends up being too heavy. So one last time through. If you were here last week, you guys already got a good start on this. Scoop. That's one. So the same side arm just scoops to the inside. My hips are up. I need to get my hips facing this direction. Whether you pull, lift your hips and skip, doesn't matter. Or if you put your foot on the floor, escape your hip, and you'll lock back very quickly. They're generally more concerned about protecting the arm than what you're doing down here with your leg. They usually don't care. Does that make sense? I'm going to grab here. Alright? My goal now is to take my knee. I'm going to rock. I'm going to start to bridge in this direction. So this top shoulder turns down. My knee turns in. This will help pull. This will help pull. And I turn my knee down, rock the guy back, hug right here. All right, so I happen to land here where the guy started to make a little bit of a defense. That's fine. He feels like he might have a shot out. He's not going anywhere. I'm hooking around his wrist, I'm controlling here. I've already got his pants leg, so him running away, it's not possible. He can't put his feet on the floor and just turn around and run out. So now I just got to make sure that I'm hooked onto his arm good, so now he can't wiggle his arm free. And this position with my legs is actually making it a ton harder for him to just simply pull his arm through. Okay? Again, notice that my knees are pinched, my shin is on his shoulder, and that my knees are going this direction towards his head. They're not pointing straight up. If they're pointing straight up, this will not work. I have to put pressure down on his shoulder. And even this is enough to keep him from being, arm control is enough to keep him from being able to turn out. So if he hit his feet and tried to run from here, he can't turn back into me. He can kind of run away a little bit, but he's still got good pressure on that shoulder. It's hard for him to turn up. But he gets here and gets swirly. Once I have this, now I've got that doubly protected. So I just scoop his arm, look to me, and now we'll just go back nice and easy. And it won't be long before we see him. I'm running all the way back. It's ready to go. And I'm sure he's snapping early. He's snapping before there's pressure, but there's really no place to go. And you can see I've got considerable more ground to cover, so by the time I'm laying back here, there's going to be a lot of pressure on his elbow and a lot of pressure on his shoulder.
His tight is all down pressure on my shoulder.
Yes, because of that. It's a bit of a unique arm lock to be in. I've got opposing pressures, one pushing down on the shoulder and the other one is basically lifting up into his elbow. So he's got downward pressure here and here, and upward pressure there. So it's basically taking the arm like a baseball bat, just over my leg. Make sense? Okay.
Can I see you doing some doing work?
Yes. You're right there, looking innocent enough. All right, so again, I'm here. I got my omoplata, and the guy went ahead and tucked. And again, this really just kind of came out of the fact that some people they just don't know how to defend an omoplata all that well. They're still sort of like, well, what do I do? So they're just doing the thing that feels most natural. Let me hide the arm. Okay, perfect. That helps. Scoop inside. Bring your foot off. Foot on the floor. Escape your hip and drop your knee in. Get so you're facing towards the rear. Okay? Now from here, grab the pants leg. I'm going to roll. It's tough. I'm going to try and bridge in this direction. Bringing my knee to the inside and this top shoulder down. So I may have to kind of rock and pull a little bit there. So I'm definitely using my connection with him to help me. If you're not, you're going to have a hard time. But now notice that my hips are down. My hips are right. Straight on top of his tricep. His elbow is in my belly button. I have his pants leg. My legs are nice and tight. I'm going to make sure I keep this tight to me, as tight as I can, just hugging it in. And now I'm simply going to roll back the opposite direction and pull this over my head as I do so. So I'm here, hug up on the arm, controlling the pants leg, and now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. That's good. Hopefully that will make this position a little easier. Please go slow.